I am a big fan of Rainbow Plantlife, and I couldn't help looking at her YouTube page and seeing this video. If I could cook only one dish for a vegan skeptic, it would be this one.
The question I'm asked most frequently is, I'm vegan, but my family's not, and they don't like what I cook. What can I make them that will get them excited about vegan food?
It's got the most views of any other video on her channel, and I thought, if my family's gonna like anything, they'll probably like this. Stick around to find out if that's the case. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I take Nisha's recipe and I modify it as needed to make it whole food plant-based. It's already vegan, but I'm gonna take out the oil and stuff like that, and we'll talk about that along the way. But what I'm also gonna do is add a little bit of extra value because I know that my kids love to have my plant-based naan. So I'm gonna show you how to make that as well. But the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make my naan. And if you want this recipe and a lot of our other delicious recipes, it's actually in our cookbook. It is in the QR code that's on the screen right now. That's for the digital copy. If you want a hard copy, you can email me right here and I'll let you know how you can obtain one based on where you are in the world. But we ship pretty much everywhere. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna get some tap water, like warm tap water. Think of it as the temperature when tea is ready to drink. That's the temperature we're looking for of the water. I know that's not a scientific term, but that's if it's too hot, it's gonna kill the yeast. So that's what we're looking for. Wooly is trying to sneak through the kitchen and not be loud. I appreciate you, Wooly. Just trying to figure out whether it's recycling or garbage day. Don't mind the chaos. So we're gonna take that water, we're gonna mix it with just like a teaspoon of maple syrup. If you don't have maple syrup, that's okay. Use any other whole food sweetener. Coconut sugar will be fine. Date sugar will be fine. You just need some sugar to activate the yeast. And then if you have active yeast, you're gonna put a teaspoon of that in with the 3/4 cup of water. If you have what's called fast-acting yeast, use the same amount, but just know that when we have the dough rise, it's gonna rise probably in half the time. Okay, so we're gonna set that aside and we're gonna wait like 5-10 minutes and allow that to do its thing and start to foam up. If in 10 minutes it hasn't started to do anything, either your water was too hot or your yeast is dead and you need to get new yeast. Sorry. But while that is sitting there doing its thing, we're gonna add our flour together along with our baking powder and our salt. Just mix that together and let it sit. As soon as that yeast has bubbled up, we're gonna add that into the bowl with the flour. We're gonna mix that all together and we're gonna add in 5 tablespoons of our plant-based yogurt. I've used different kinds of yogurt. I just recommend one that doesn't have any sugar in it, so plain is fine. I think the one I'm using here is oat-based or coconut-based. It doesn't matter, they all work great. Mix that all together and then just start adding flour as you need to make sure that it's get super sticky. You're gonna shape it into a ball and then you're going to put it somewhere warm with like a towel or a plate over top of it for 2 to 4 hours depending on the active yeast you're using. I'm using my Instant Pot. This is how I proof dough now because it's a controlled environment, it's a consistent temperature. I love it. So if you have an Instant Pot, I highly recommend putting it in there, putting it on the lowest heat yogurt setting, and then just putting like a glass lid over top. This is how it looks. It's perfect, it's good to go. I'm very excited. Now we're gonna remove the dough from the bowl and turn it onto a floured surface. We're just gonna knead it for like another 30 seconds. And then if it's sticky a little bit, just add a little extra flour. Then we're gonna divide that into 6 even pieces. You can just use your hands. If you've got like a little, what are these called? Breadcrumbs? No, these things. Bread, I know the name of it. It was a long day, everyone. And sometimes words escape me. This thing, cut up your dough. If you've got a little kitchen scale, you could weigh it first, divide by 6, and then try to get it into pieces like that. Sometimes I do that. You can then shape those all into a small ball and then just put like a kitchen towel over top of that. Let it sit for another 15 minutes or so just to do like a final rise. Once it's rested, you can begin to heat up a cast iron pan over medium heat. You're going to take a piece of dough and lay it onto a floured surface, roll it out into an oval or a circle or whatever shape you fancy with a rolling pin. And then we're going to put it onto the frying pan just for like 1 minute until it starts to bubble. And then flip it with a spatula, or if your hands are like crusted and have no feeling left in them like mine, you can just flip it with your hand. And then cook another minute just until the other side is cooked. It literally cooks that fast. It cooks in like 2 minutes. I recommend leaving it inside of another kitchen towel just to keep it warm while you're doing everything else. And then that's it. Your naan is ready to go. So now to the star of the show, Nisha's red lentil curry. So going through the ingredient list here, obviously we're going to avoid the coconut oil. I'm not going to use serrano pepper because it's a bit too spicy for my family. Instead, I bought a jalapeno pepper, so I'm just going to dice that up. She suggests using that instead, but she says to leave the seeds in. I might take them out. Otherwise, this is all looking good. She does call for a full-fat coconut milk. I know this is the kind of thing some people in our audience like to avoid. So you could use a light coconut milk if you want. The other thing you could do is to take like a tablespoon or two of just coconut and blend that together with water. I know that's a suggestion some people do as well. Of course, obviously that's going to affect the flavor. The thing that I'm really excited about here that I haven't done with red curries that I've made is put in almond butter. Although that is my secret ingredient in the chickpea kind of masala dish that I make a lot. Almond butter. It's kind of a magical ingredient for fat because when you mix it in with things, you don't necessarily taste the almond, but you get this like rich umami fat flavor. So experiment with almond butter in your cooking. You don't need much, like a couple tablespoons goes a long way. The other thing I'm going to do while I'm cooking this and my naan is resting is I'm going to warm up some rice. I actually made some rice last week and I froze it using our super cubes. So I'm just going to pull that out and warm it up. But if you want to get some rice cooking in another pot, you should do that. So we're going to get our cast iron pan going nice and hot. We're going to heat up not the oil. I might just dry saute the onion and the aromatics. But I might throw some aquafaba in there too, because I have some of that. And I know it's not going to bloom the spices. So for those of you that are yelling at me that the flavors are not going to be quite the same as Nisha's, I get that. That's kind of the whole point of what we're doing. We're seeing if we enjoy this in the whole food plant-based version of it without the oil. So we're aware. So we're going to add in all those together. We're going to add in the spices and we're going to move them around the pan, heat them up, allow them to, heat up, and hopefully some of the flavor comes out. It's not going to bloom the way oil does, like I said, but it's going to do something. Next, we're going to pour in the vegetable broth and use a spatula to kind of scrape up any of the brown bits at the bottom. Next, we're going to add in our red lentils. Make sure you rinse those first in cold water before you put them in the pan. Just rinse them until the water runs clear, and that'll let you know they're nice and clean. On top of that, we're also going to add in the crushed tomatoes and mix that all together nice and beautifully. We're going to reduce the heat to low and cover the pan with a lid and simmer for like 20 to 25 minutes or until the lentils are cooked through and have mostly softened. If you find the lentils are not quite soft after 25 minutes, add a few more spoonfuls of water or broth and cook for another 5 minutes, she says. After that's all good and ready, we're going to remove the lid and add in the coconut milk and the almond butter along with a little bit of salt and pepper as needed. We're going to continue cooking on low heat for about 5 to 8 minutes until the curry has thickened and is nice and creamy. And the only thing that I'm debating throwing into ours is some green peas just to add a little more vegetable to this. It just feels like it's missing vegetable. I need to add, I know that's just how my brain goes. And that won't affect the flavor, it's just gonna add more fortification to the meal. She says finally you can stir in the lemon juice and cilantro, turn off the heat, and if you want the lentils even creamier, you can puree some using an immersion blender.
It's got a good lime flavor.
Lemon.
Or lemon flavor, sorry. I can taste the cilantro. It's nice.
There's an ingredient or two in here that I don't put in our red curry.
I feel like at first you're like, oh, there's no flavor, and then the flavor comes. Like it tastes like kind of like bland or watery or something, but then when you let it,
oh yeah,
when you like breathe for a minute, then you can taste it. I think the flavor is really nice.
Oh yeah, it takes a second.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
At first it feels like it doesn't have any flavor.
Yeah, so she put some almond butter in here, which I do in our masala.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Like this one definitely, I'll say this, comparing it to ours, this feels fattier and probably is a little fattier. So if that's the kind of vibe you want, this is a great recipe. I would make this again. I would have it. This is at least an A for me, if not an A plus to an S.
Yeah, I think it's an A.
It's really nice. And I think I'd want lime in there instead and a little bit more. But that's just my taste. But it's good. Yeah. You gave it a grade?
Yeah, I think an A.
What do you think? Give it a second because the flavors take a second to kick in.
Yeah, I don't know. Flavors aren't kicking in for me.
Really?
Not really.
I find it takes a second. Don't have so much bread. Get a bite of just like the curry.
And take a breath through
You
your
take a
nose.
deep breath. Yeah. Seriously, no. Seriously. It's like a fine wine, man. You gotta taste the
You guys
notes.
like this, you fun?
You shouldn't have to eat curry. You shouldn't have to eat food like this.
No.
The flavors are alright. It's just not for me. I don't
Even
think.
me, I go like this.
Like I don't mind it. You know, I'll eat it, but it's just not for me.
Yeah?
Like it's a C, I think. But like, they're not bad. They're not my kind of flavors.
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah?
It's not too powerful. The flavors are pretty light, but good. Ta-da.
What do you give it?
An A. Especially with the naan.
If you enjoyed us doing this review of like a single dish from another YouTuber, let us know in the comments down below. Give us your recommendations for a recipe that you want to see us do next. This was Nisha's most popular recipe, so that's why I picked it. And subscribe for more videos like this. And there's a video over Willie's face. You should watch that one. What are you doing?
Coming my face.
Uh,
Subscribe.
oh, yeah, subscribe.